What if the one habit destroying your reputation has nothing to do with your skills, your intelligence, or your success, but everything to do with how you show up when things get hard? What if the very thing you believe is protecting you, that armor you wear, that perfect image you maintain, that wall you built to keep pain out, is actually the exact reason people are slowly losing respect for you? What if being strong all the time is making you the weakest version of yourself in the eyes of everyone watching? What if your silence when you should speak, your fake smile when you are breaking, your blame when you should own it? What if all of that is costing you something far more valuable than comfort? It is costing you connection. It is costing you trust. It is costing you the kind of respect that does not come from titles or achievements, but from the raw, terrifying, beautiful act of being genuinely, unapologetically human. Today, we are going to talk about that one habit, the habit hiding in plain sight, that is quietly making people walk away from you, disconnect from you, and stop believing in you. And once you hear this, you will never unsee it again. What if the most dangerous thing you are doing right now is not a mistake you made, not a failure you experienced, but a habit so deeply embedded in your daily life that you do not even recognize it as a problem? What if this single habit is silently dismantling every relationship you care about, every leadership opportunity you deserve, and every chance you have at being truly deeply respected, not just tolerated, not just acknowledged, but genuinely, wholeheartedly respected? Here is the truth that most people are not ready to hear. The habit that makes people lose respect for you is not laziness. It is not failure. It is not even arrogance in its most obvious form. The habit is the constant, relentless, exhausting performance of having everything under control when you do not. The refusal to be seen as human, the armor of perfection, the wall of I am fine when you are absolutely not fine, and the deadly pattern of blaming everything and everyone around you rather than looking inward with courage and honesty. Think about the people you respect most in your life. Not the ones who never stumbled, not the ones who had the most polished presentations or the most impressive titles. The people you truly, deeply respect are the ones who looked you in the eye during their hardest moments and said, I don't have this figured out, but I am going to keep going. They are the ones who said, I was wrong without flinching. They are the ones who showed up fully, not perfectly, but fully. And that distinction between fully and perfectly is everything. We live in a world that has confused perfection with excellence and armor with strength. From the time we are children, we are taught to hide our struggles, suppress our tears, and project confidence even when we are collapsing on the inside. We learn very quickly that showing weakness is dangerous, that vulnerability is something to be ashamed of, and that admitting we do not know something is a sign of incompetence. So we build walls. We construct elaborate performances. We smile through the pain, we pretend through the uncertainty, and we blame through the mistakes. And we genuinely believe, we sincerely, deeply believe, that this is the formula for respect. But here is what actually happens on the other side of that performance. When you walk into a room pretending to have all the answers, the people in that room feel two things simultaneously. They feel inadequate because they do not have all the answers, and they feel disconnected from you because they can sense, human beings always sense, that what you are showing them is not real. And the moment someone feels disconnected from you, the respect begins to drain. Not dramatically, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, consistently, like water leaking from a container that looks full from the outside but is emptying from within. The habit of blame is perhaps the most respect-destroying behavior that exists in human interaction. When something goes wrong, a project fails, a relationship breaks, a decision backfires, the instinct for many people is immediate and powerful. Find someone or something outside of themselves to hold responsible. The economy, the timing, the team, the circumstances, the other person. And while sometimes those external factors are genuinely relevant, the habit of making them the primary story, the habit of never, ever turning the lens inward, tells everyone watching something deeply important about your character. It tells them that you are not safe. It tells them that if they make a mistake near you, they will be next. It tells them that accountability is a door you will never willingly walk through. And people do not respect those who cannot be accountable. They may fear them, they may comply with them, but they do not respect them. Respect and fear are not the same thing, and confusing them is one of the great tragedies of leadership. Now let us talk about perfectionism, not the kind that pushes you to do your best, but the kind that is driven entirely by fear of what people will think if they see you fail. This is the perfectionism that whispers, if I am perfect, I can avoid judgment. If I am perfect, I can avoid shame. If I am perfect, I will finally be enough. And this perfectionism is a habit, a deeply addictive, socially rewarded habit that slowly separates you from every real meaningful connection in your life. Because perfection is not relatable, perfection is not human, and people cannot connect with something that does not feel human. They can admire it from a distance, they can envy it, but they cannot trust it, love it, or respect it the way they respect something genuine and real and honestly imperfect. There is something remarkable that happens when a leader, a parent, a manager, a teacher, a friend stands in front of the people they care about and says, I made a mistake, I got this wrong, and I'm going to do better. The room does not collapse, respect does not vanish. What actually happens is the exact opposite. The room exhales. The people in that room feel safer, more connected, more loyal, and more genuinely motivated than they were 5 minutes before that admission was made. Because that admission, that simple, terrifying, courageous act of ownership, signals something to every human brain in the room. This person is trustworthy. This person is real. This person is safe. And trust and safety are the two foundations upon which all genuine respect is built. Let us also examine what happens when we numb ourselves, when the habit of avoiding our own difficult emotions becomes so ingrained that we are emotionally unavailable to the people around us. When we are afraid to feel our own pain, we become afraid of other people's pain. We dismiss it, we minimize it. We say, just get over it, because watching someone else sit in their difficulty triggers the emotions we have been running from in ourselves. And this emotional unavailability, this habit of being physically present but emotionally absent, communicates something devastating to the people around you. It tells them that their feelings do not matter to you. It tells them that their humanity is an inconvenience. And nothing, absolutely nothing, destroys respect faster than making a person feel like their humanity is an inconvenience to you. Here is what is both terrifying and beautiful about respect. It cannot be demanded. It cannot be performed into existence. It cannot be purchased with achievements or manufactured through appearances. Respect is earned in the smallest, most honest, most human moments. The moment you say, I don't know. The moment you say, I was wrong. The moment you sit with someone in their pain instead of trying to fix it or run from it. The moment you choose truth over comfort and courage over approval. These are the moments that build respect so deep and so durable that no failure, no mistake, and no imperfection can shake it. The habit that makes people lose respect for you is the habit of choosing your image over your integrity, your armor over your authenticity, and your comfort over your courage. It is the habit of performing strength instead of practicing it, and the way out of that habit, the way back to the kind of respect that actually sustains you, nourishes you, and connects you to the people around you is the same path that has always been there, waiting for you to be brave enough to take it. It is the path of showing up as who you actually are, uncertain sometimes, wrong sometimes, struggling sometimes, and choosing to be seen anyway. The people who walk that path are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who fall in front of others and get back up without pretending the fall never happened. They are the ones who build something far more powerful than a reputation. They build trust. They build connection. They build the kind of legacy that outlasts every title, every achievement, and every moment of performed perfection. So the question is not whether you have this habit. Most of us do in one form or another because we were taught to. The question is whether you are willing to do the harder, braver, more rewarding thing, whether you are willing to put down the armor, take ownership of your story, and step into the kind of authentic, accountable, courageous presence that makes people not just notice you, but genuinely, deeply, lastingly respect you. That choice is yours. It has always been yours. Everything we have explored today comes down to one powerful, uncomfortable, liberating truth. Respect is not built through perfection, performance, or the relentless projection of having everything under control. It is built through the daily, courageous practice of showing up authentically, owning your mistakes, feeling your emotions, dropping your armor, and choosing integrity over image every single time those two things come into conflict. The habit of blame, the addiction to perfectionism, the armor of emotional unavailability, these are not signs of strength. They are signs of fear. And fear, no matter how convincingly it disguises itself as control or confidence, never earns you the deep, durable, genuine respect that every human being deserves and desires. The most respected people in history were not the ones who were always right. They were the ones who were always real. Start there. Start today. Start with one honest conversation, one genuine admission, one moment of choosing courage over comfort, and watch how everything around you begins to shift. Everything we have explored today comes down to one powerful, uncomfortable, liberating truth. Respect is not built through perfection, performance, or the relentless projection of having everything under control. It is built through the daily, courageous practice of showing up authentically, owning your mistakes, feeling your emotions, dropping your armor, and choosing integrity over image every single time those two things come into conflict. The habit of blame, the addiction to perfectionism, the armor of emotional unavailability, these are not signs of strength. They are signs of fear. And fear, no matter how convincingly it disguises itself as control or confidence, never earns you the deep, durable, genuine respect that every human being deserves and desires. The most respected people in history were not the ones who were always right. They were the ones who were always real. Start there, start today,